Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Joice Christine Bailey Lewis, talking with you again about the past, present, and future events in our lives. This week I am continuing to be concerned for our future. This family has 2 new babies being born today and on the 9th of September. They are the future of this country. And yet there is a past that will affect their lives. 400 years of struggle and the last 50 years of trying to make it a difference and trying to get this country back on track. Come to think of it, it's never really been on track because for the 400 years I talked about in the last 50 years, we have brought to mind the issues that have affected this country and kept it from becoming a more perfect union. Because in this country, there has been a superior race and other people considered inferior. And with that said, it means that this country has been divided from day one, with the Native Americans and then the Africans who were brought to this country, and others who have come and have not fit into the white society and have been isolated along with Black people, Native American people. And those are people such as the Jewish people, the Asians, the Muslims, and I could go on to add a number of groups that do not fit into the white Aryan society. And so they have been isolated and treated differently. And what the founding fathers said, not that they thought it, they said, this country will continue to work toward a more perfect union. And at that time, many of the people who were making these statements were indeed slave owners. So we take that with a grain of salt. And yet, this country has so much potential that it could form a perfect union, or at least a more perfect until we get to the perfect. And I'm concerned for my babies, for the great grandbabies who are coming along and who will inherit either a struggle or the freedom to be equal in every way to everyone else. In the future, I am praying and hoping that we will no longer have to march. We will no longer have to be killed to get people to pay attention to our struggle. That we will no longer have to take a back seat or strive to equality amongst all people with jobs and with schooling and every aspect of our lives. I am a person who has had a lot of experiences, and I've seen a lot in my day. I've seen a time when white people who didn't want to be in school or in the neighborhood or around Black people have run away to even inferior schools that had no resources. And now we have a person over education who's trying to make that up and to give to the private schools the monies that belong to the public schools. And public schools are the requirement of this nation. And it is through public education that the people who have been left behind will catch up. Now, I wrote a book called My Ancestral Voices, and you'd be wise to get a copy of it because it tells you how it all came about from slavery to the present day. But it also tells people how if you put one foot in front of the other, and if, like Booker T. Washington said, you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, you can become anybody you want to be, even with the chains and the struggles and the rope around your neck. You can do great things. And we look at the black people and the Native American people, the Asians, the Jewish. We look at the Muslims. We look at all these people who have done great things. We have representation in Congress now of the Native American, of the Muslim. We have large representation of black people. What we need to do is to continue to level out the population, those that make up a larger number. Will have a larger number representing them in Congress and in the Senate. And I tell you this, people, in the now and continuing in the future, you're going to have more non-whites in this country than you have whites. Now that is what those white people who are racist and following Trump are afraid of. They are afraid of the minority becoming the majority. Well, like I told you last week, we're not out after you. We're just out after equality. And if you stop fighting us, we will become equal, and we won't have done anything to you. We will just have done it for ourselves. So I'm asking that everyone in the sound of my voice to think for a moment about the babies who are coming into this world. And let's make a place for them that does not have inherent in it the struggles that we have gone through. And I keep telling you, it took me 27 years of college to get a doctoral degree, and I should have gotten it in 5 or 6 years. Had I been white, I would have. I spent 22 years being black because I was black. So if we can level out the playing field, have everybody reach their maximum potential, this nation will become the nation it was intended to be. Without those things, we'll never get there. So those of you who are killing our black men, those of you who are touting this racial hatred, those of you who are pushing for division amongst the people, you're just delaying the day when everything will be all right for everybody. And you and I will have passed on. But before I go, I ask everyone to remember the babies who are coming into this world, and let's prepare a world for them that is equal and that they can live in a perfect union. Now, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because that's where I'm talking to you. And I want you to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Dr. Joice Christine Bailey Lewis. I also want you to buy my book, My Ancestral Voices. With those things, we will become greater than we ever knew. Now, my book can be found on Barnes and Nobles, on Amazon, and on eBay. Don't forget that. Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and eBay. You will be blessed once you read this book, and you will know way more than you ever knew. May God richly bless you.